Thanks for joining us today. I am Alex Hinton. I'm with TCDI, and here with me today we have Bogdan. He's one of our pen testers here at TCDI. He also works on incident response investigations. And I just wanted to ask you a few quick questions, touch base with you to see what's going on. I guess first and foremost, what have you been working on yesterday and today in related to the SolarWinds attack?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think what me and our team has been focusing on is really just trying to gather as much information as we can, because like many of the people probably watching this, most people are kind of the same boat. We know that this is a serious thing that happened. I mean, this is an attack that affects a lot of organizations in the world, and it's one of those things that essentially runs in the plumbing of many organizations. So we're out there using search engines, search engines that are specific to interconnected devices, and we're trying to gather as much as we can to give a sense of exactly how serious of a threat this is.
Well, what have you been coming across? What have you been seeing in the wild? What are you finding with businesses that might have been compromised?
Yeah, so we actually have a few clients that we're working with. One in particular, they are not running a very specific version of SolarWinds Orion or any of the versions that were kind of declared to be vulnerable based on the SolarWinds security advisory, but they are using some applications that were acquired by SolarWinds a number of years ago, and they've been experiencing some very shady things since last week. And everyone is kind of in panic mode, and the threat is real, because even on SolarWinds' own website, they say that they do not believe, they can't give 100% certainty that any of their other products or offerings have been compromised. So yeah, so it's all hands on deck type of thing.
Do you have any recommendations for companies that run a network management system like SolarWinds or use their tools?
Yeah, I think the first one, something that I've noticed here actually in this past week is really the fact that it seems like people put SolarWinds and a lot of those network management tools into like a separate category within their infrastructure or their information technology infrastructure. So they treat it differently when it comes to security policy, when I think things need to be kind of flipped, and they need to have even stricter security policies on those tools. Because just yesterday, actually less than 24 hours ago, there was a tool put up into the public space that allows a malicious actor or a non-malicious actor to essentially dump credentials out of SolarWinds Orion. And this tool is available on public code repositories now, and if you're looking for it, you can find it. So you definitely want to take any precautions you can. Everything from firewall hardening to system hardening to general cybersecurity hygiene, I guess is a good way to put it.
Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share with us today, Bogdan?
Yeah, really this is turning into one of those things where the good guys and the bad guys are out there trying to find any information they can. This type of attack that occurred by a nation state really took a toll on a lot of organizations out there, and it put SolarWinds and all of their product lines on the radar of a lot of people, good and bad. So right now we're in this position where the good guys are trying to get ahead, and then the bad guys are trying to get even further ahead, because they're trying to find ways to essentially monetize this for themselves, because that's really the bottom line nowadays, is using these types of attacks for monetization, whether it's ransomware or theft of intellectual property, or just persistent access to MSPs, for example, where then they can use that as a pivot to get into all the organizations they work with. So that's really my final thought, is looking at kind of what's going on on the internet and some of the deep websites that we unfortunately have to scowl. It looks like everyone's hungry for blood.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for taking time to meet with me today and answer a few questions. And I look forward to chatting with you further on this topic. It's super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, so this is what the malicious attackers are doing. Essentially, they're going into Google and they're using what's called a Google dork to identify certain services or applications that have been crawled by the Google search engine. So something simple is something like this, where you type in URL where you're targeting everything within the URL, and then let's focus on Orion's login page. X, and then I'll do a -solarwinds.com to redact any solarwinds.com results, and we'll just search it. And then here we'll see view.gov.org.com, and these are all instances of SolarWinds Orion. And a lot of these have been moved as a response of what's been happening. So some of these results aren't completely updated, but there's definitely, it screams concern, to put it lightly, to me, but it screams opportunity to anyone looking to take advantage of this from a malicious perspective.